All right, let's get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is John Corvino. I am Dean of the Irvin D. Reed Honors College, and I appreciate you all joining us today to learn more about our college. You are at a point where you are exploring possibilities for college study, and I think it's important for you to have an opportunity to make an informed decision about that. Normally, we like to do that by actually inviting you to campus, by doing a student panel on campus, by letting you see where we work and study and where many of our students live. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, we are not able to do that this week. However, there's some good news around this. The numbers are looking good. Wayne State has been remarkably safe as a campus compared to our peer institutions. We will be going back to in-person classes next week on Monday. We had an in-person semester this past fall, and our plan is to do that moving forward. And it's been particularly good for us in the Irvin D. Reed Honors College because, as you'll learn today, probably the best thing about our college is that we are a cohesive academic community. And through the last couple of years of the pandemic, we have been able to support one another in the challenges of working with the pandemic while keeping things moving forward. So the way today is going to work is I'm going to tell you a little bit about our college and the structure of the college. But I think the best way for you to learn about us is to talk to students who are currently part of the college. And to that end, we have a panel of 5 students. There's a sophomore, some juniors, some seniors with a variety of majors. I'm going to ask them questions about their experience, and then we'll have an opportunity to open things up for you to ask questions as well. If you put questions in the chat right now, they will just come to the hosts, to me and my colleagues, but there will be a point later on where we will open up the chat so that people can post questions and that everyone can see them. So with that, I am going to share some slides. Can we all see that? Okay, good. Okay, so the Irvin D. Reed Honors College is an academic community of roughly 2,000 students. They have majors all across the curriculum. One of the first things to understand about our college is that nobody majors in honors. Our students major in business and engineering and biology and chemistry, philosophy, history, Spanish. They have options across the entire university, and honors functions as a co-major and as a way of providing some depth and structure to your undergraduate experience in those other majors. So all of our students belong not just to the Honors College, but to some other school or college within Wayne State. The way university honors is structured is that all of our students take a foundational sequence in their first year that includes Honors 1000. It's a course entitled Changing Detroit. The reason that we studied Detroit is various. Partly it's because we think it's good for you to understand your surroundings and how they got to be the way they are. Partly it's because Detroit is a fascinating place, and we at Wayne State University have been there over 150 years and have interesting connections with the city. But mostly it's because we see ourselves in the Honors College as preparing leaders for the next generation, and the kinds of challenges that face our nation and our world right now are good to study in Detroit. Challenges of deindustrialization, challenges of changing populations, challenges of racial segregation, and so on. So Detroit provides an opportunity for us to learn in a multidisciplinary way about how things got the way they are and how we can make changes in the future. That's in the first semester. In the second semester, students take a small foundational seminar. There is a variety of choices for those seminars, but what they all emphasize are core skills in research and writing. We know that our honor students are going to go on to challenging majors, challenging courses throughout their experience, and we want to make sure that you start your experience at Wayne State with some good core skills. All of our students at some point take what we call a field learning course. You have the option of a service learning course, a study abroad experience, an undergraduate research experience, or an internship, co-op, or practicum. There are a variety of different ways to do this. All of our honor students take a 4,000 level junior senior seminar, and all of them do a research project with a faculty mentor. Typically, students do that in their major. This is often a way to build close relationships with faculty in your major, not only because of the way that that can prepare you for graduate study or career, but also because these relationships are often very valuable for letters of recommendation and so on as students apply for graduate school, professional school, and career. And I would say about 75% of our students typically go on to graduate or professional study. It is important to understand that these courses, plus the other honors courses, which add up to 28 honors credits, are not in addition to the 120 credits required for graduation. They are among the 120 credits required for graduation. So honor students are not required to take additional courses, additional credits. These are simply enhanced versions of the credits that you would already take. What do we see as the benefits of doing this? Well, as I said earlier, first and foremost, we are a community, and it's a community where we challenge one another to meet our full potential. You are talented and ambitious students, and we want to help you get the most out of your Wayne State experience. Most of our students are students who could have gone to college in many different places. We're often accepted to a wide variety of colleges. And if you come to Wayne State, we want to help you make the most of that and the opportunities here. We have dedicated academic advisors in addition to the advisors that you will have for your major. Some of those advisors are joining us on the call today, so they'll be available if we have any advising related questions during the Q&A. We have the access to close mentoring by full-time faculty, and part of what we do in the Honors College is help connect you to the faculty around Wayne State. Wayne State is a Carnegie Research One institution. It is one of only 3 such institutions in the state of Michigan. It's one of only about a dozen urban public Carnegie Research One institutions in the nation, which means that we have faculty who are leaders in their field, who are researching and publishing in significant ways in their fields, and we want to give you, our honor students, access to those faculty, and we help you curate that experience. There are special scholarship and research opportunities available to honor students. As part of your invitation letter, you will have received some information about any merit awards or scholarship awards that you have already received, Wayne State. Congratulations on that. There are other scholarships that come along that are available throughout the course of study. Those are competitive, and some of those are unique to the Honors College. We have a variety of engaged learning experiences in the city of Detroit. We try to take advantage of the fact that Wayne State has particular relationships with partners in the city, business partnerships, philanthropic partnerships, service partnerships, research partnerships, and so on. And we think that our students should be able to take advantage of that as well, and we help you to do that. We'll talk about one of those briefly. I'm going to show you a short video after this slide, but there are a variety of them available. Honor students have access to something called pre-priority class registration. We know that our students are ambitious, that you often have double majors, minors, research projects, service projects, and things, and that because of that, your schedule can be kind of complex. So we let honor students register early before a variety of other students get to register. Many students say this is one of the important perks of being within the Honors College. There are designated honors floors in our residence halls to help us build that honors community. And of course, there is special distinction at graduation on your degree and on your transcript. This is something that employers, graduate schools, professional schools will notice. I often like to say, though, that the important thing is not the distinction or the recognition. The important thing is the experiences that you have that merit that distinction. So, the gold collar at graduation that honor students wear, that's just a piece of fabric, but it represents something greater. It represents those experiences that you have had as part of the Honors College. I mentioned a moment ago that among those experiences are certain research opportunities and partnerships for field learning experiences in the city of Detroit. One of those that we've done for the last 2 years and are planning on doing again this year involves a partnership we did with Microsoft Corporation and Quicken or Rocket companies, where we partnered so that our students could help high school students in the city of Detroit learning computer programming or video production. And here is a short video about that. And I may have...
There are so many young, bright, and talented...
When I shared my screen, did I... KP, did I remember to share the sound? Did you just hear the sound on that? Okay, good.
People in Detroit. All they need is an opportunity to let that shine. From the powerhouses of Microsoft, Quicken Loans, and Wayne State University, this unique internship experience partners Detroit Public Schools high school students with Wayne State University honor students for a summer of career exploration and hands-on technology coaching. These aspiring and inspiring young professionals are given the opportunity to further their skills in one of two career paths, video or technology. The video internship focuses on how to tell a great story with precise and expert-level production skills. The technology internship is all about handcrafting programs and applications from the fundamentals of coding. With mentorship from the coaches, presentations from influential academic and business leaders, and interaction with three major pillars of Detroit, DPS students are prepped to leave high school with a greater knowledge and insight about the ever-growing world of technology. And the honor students from Wayne State University are given the opportunity to share their knowledge and give back to the Detroit community.
Wayne State is a premier urban research university, and part of what's distinctive about that is that it creates an opportunity for deep relationships with the community around us. We don't just sort of come in and visit Detroit. We are part of Detroit, and Detroit is part of who we are.
Through this program, we are finding a way to let Detroit shine on.
Okay, so as I mentioned, that is just one of the various special programs that we have where we take advantage of our place in the city of Detroit and the kinds of relationships and partnerships we have with various organizations around the city of Detroit. You can learn more about that program and about other such programs at our website under the Special Programs tab, and our website is honors.wayne.edu. I would say overall, the best way to understand the Honors College is that we combine the competitive advantage of a premier urban research university with the personal attention of a small liberal arts college. Think of us as a smaller, intimate academic community within this large research university. And I think the best way to learn about what that feels like is to talk to people who are in it. So we're going to, in a moment, have a panel with some of our current students. And then after we do that for a while, we will, like I said, open up the floor for questions from all of you. But like I said, for more information, you can go to honors.wayne.edu, our website, and find out more there. Okay, so with that, I am going to ask my colleagues to spotlight the members of the student panel, and I am going to ask those members of the student panel to introduce themselves. And just looking at my screen, and the first person who has popped up in front of me is Mahmoud Khattab. So I'm going to ask each of you to say your name, your year, your major, and then we'll go through some questions. So, but let's start with Mahmoud.
Hi, my name is Mahmoud Khattab. I'm a sophomore right now, and I'm studying biochem.
Excellent. Liliana, hi, nice to see you.
Hi, I'm Liliana. I am a sophomore majoring in communication studies and minoring in journalism.
Excellent. Mariah.
Hi, my name is Mariah. I am currently a junior and I am pursuing nursing.
Excellent. And Shane.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shane, and I'm majoring in philosophy with a minor in biochemistry.
Excellent. And we have one other person, Miriam, and I don't think they are here yet, but if Miriam does show up, please let me know. But for the students who are here, can I ask you to say a little bit about what has been distinctive for you in your experience of the Honors College and of Wayne State more generally? And we can take this in any order you want to jump in.
So I guess one of the nicest things, like you mentioned earlier, is that priority registration. Honestly, that's like been so nice. I get to plan my whole semester. I get to come in like for like 3 days a week or however I want to fit it into my schedule. So it's like school isn't a problem for me, you know? Other people end up like registering late and they're like, oh yeah, I have like classes 5 days a week. I have a class till 8 at night and then another class at 8 in the morning. So I'm just like sitting there waiting for this class. But for me, it's like, yeah, I already got to sign up a while ago. I'm done. And then it's just like, it's a pretty fun community.
Well, good. Glad to hear it. Who else?
I think I really like how you put it as with the intimacy of a small liberal college. I find that the community that I find within the Honors College has helped me with that freshman year anxiety last year, and the sophomore year anxiety. It will help me with the junior year anxiety and the senior year anxiety. So just the community that you can find. And I think with that intimacy comes a lot of guidance. Like you mentioned, the foundational seminar, that was something that was super helpful for me. When I was a freshman, I feel like I was just thrown into this huge sea of typing papers that I didn't know how to type. And it was just an entire different environment academically. And the honors classes really helped me adjust to that environment.
Excellent. And you spent your first year, as many students did, taking all of your classes remote, because of last year we were completely remote. And so how was that in terms of building community?
I think that both of my honors classes were the classes, even though they were at 8 a.m., I was like ready for some good conversation. It was much more personable. Both of my honors professors my freshman year, I felt comfortable reaching out to them during quarantine, during the pandemic. They helped me with so much. So I think in terms of community, it was a lot better than it would have been without the Honors College.
Good to hear. Who else?
Piggybacking off of that, I think with like the intimacy, you would get really close with your advisors and your professors because like the classes that you make honors and the extra projects and research you're doing, you're really working with your faculty and growing those relationships and mentorships, which really help a lot in like every aspect going forward of college.
Good to hear. And Shane, you look like you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think something unique about the honors college I really enjoyed was that at other universities, you have to hear about students searching for opportunities. Rather, in honors college, they search for you. And I think that really makes you feel wanted and really wants you to engage with not only the community, but your professors in terms of like research projects that are going on or community service or just small hangout events like Dean Arena has donuts with the deans if you ever get to engage with. There's so many things they try and get you engaged with to grow you and mold you as a person. I think it's amazing.
Excellent, thank you. And actually, that actually is a nice segue to another question, which is, I know that many of you have had interesting research projects, service projects, clubs you belong to, things like that. Do you want to share something about any of those, sort of distinctive experiences?
I would say the honors college has really done a good job of like giving me a list of opportunities that I can involve myself in, and also giving me the faculty members that have the expertise to help me cultivate that interest and explore the things. I think that's really big for me, especially in philosophy, where it's almost like a smaller field. But thanks to it being a smaller field, I have a really tight knit community with my professors and peers to really grow deep in the subject. And I think that's beautiful.
Right. But so specifically, but you've worked on some interesting research, so do you want to share like some of the stuff that you've researched or some of those specific experiences?
Oh, absolutely. I also do research outside of philosophy now in urology at Henry Ford Hospital. And it's interesting because Dean Corvino actually helped me obtain that position. So I've been able to do research in men's health, specifically in prostate cancer detection. And I also do research in kidney stone detection as well.
Excellent. Who else has had like research or service or extracurricular experience they want to talk about?
I this past semester I did the field learning course, and I chose to do service learning, and I took a course called English 3020, and it's all about writing in community, and you are required to do a certain amount of service hours and then do certain writing assignments that correlate with said hours, and it was such a rich experience. That was one of my favorite classes. For my service project, I chose to partner with some urban farms in Detroit. So even in the pandemic, there was a way for me to connect with my city, for me to get my hands in the dirt, be outside, and it was very flexible. You could choose, you didn't have to do urban farming. Some people did online tutoring. So I would say the field learning course for honors was very exciting for me.
Excellent. Who else?
I would love to hop in on that. Also, sorry for the late appearance, everyone. It has been crazy day. But
Well, we're
hi,
glad you
I'm
were able to
Em.
join us. Yeah. So yeah, start by introducing yourself and your major and all that, and then we're talking
Yeah.
about like,
Hi guys.
distinctive experiences. Yeah.
I am Em. I am a honors biological sciences student, and this is currently, well, it's my third year credit wise. It says senior. We'll see about that. And I have had the privilege of being a part of the Detroit Fellows Tutoring Project. And so this I also did for my service learning credit, but I loved it so much that I have enrolled in it again. And the way it works is that we are all taught a highly effective tutoring program to help elementary students learn how to read. And we are all partnered with a group of 3 to 5 students, depending on your availability. And at 2 days a week, we will go over to whatever elementary school we are assigned to. I worked at Go Lightly Education Center. And you sit down with these kids for 30 minutes each student for one-on-one tutoring. And it is so amazing to see them just open up to you and regain that confidence in themselves. especially with the pandemic, a lot of young students are having an incredibly hard time. And like some of these kids, like their families are so busy that they don't have anyone read to them. So they might not even know the importance of knowing how to read. I had one student in particular, his name was Marlon. And Marlon is an amazing kid. He has many, many challenges against him. He, most importantly, though, he has some issues with his motor functions and because he is very visually impaired. And so he is a first grader, and it was really tough for him because he couldn't write. He couldn't really focus for a long period of time. And a lot of times he couldn't even see what's going on in the class. So I was able to work with Marlon, and it was really enriching because not only am I able to practice teaching, but I got to see this kid go from just like an angry, super frustrated kid that just wants to go home to this little dude that would come up to me and be like, can you teach me how to write my name today? And it was just absolutely wonderful. And I'm going to be hopefully working with him again this semester.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that with us. Mariah or Mahmoud, did you wanted to jump in on this question at all? You don't have to if you don't want to, but
Yeah, I can talk about my field learning. I completed my field learning last semester, so in the fall, and I paired it with practicum for clinical for nursing. And just like everyone else is saying, I mean, like in the midst of a pandemic, just connecting with all of the different patients and really sitting down and learning about their experiences and how it's affecting them was really eye-opening. And then for my field learning, I kept a journal of each experience I had with a patient throughout the day. So I guess that's really cool to look back on and have that for the future, like to know that we as nurses are making impacts, and as honor students, I mean, everyone completing their field learning. So
great, thank you. And I think that that actually points to something else that's important, is that because Wayne State has a nursing college, because we have a law school, because we have a medical school, because we have a a business school, that those kinds of transitions to professional work become easier to make those connections as well. Mahmoud, I'm sorry, I couldn't tell if you wanted to.
Yeah. So I'm taking my field learning course right now, but last semester I took a class about Detroit that I think everyone kind of has to take at some point.
Mhm.
And so that was probably like my favorite thing that I've done here. It was just so eye-opening. I had a lot of personal opinions about Detroit and like the people in it and everything about it. The class was awesome. The professor was awesome, KDK. He really just walked us through everything. And then the small section was cool too. I had Dr. Timothy Moran. He was sick. Like he would sit down with me when I'm writing my essays. Everything helped me find sources. Like he would connect me with journalists, people that actually like documented the things that happened. It was just such a cool experience, and I got to like see a bunch of I got to get really personal with some of my professors there.
Great. So I'm going to ask one more question before I open this up for the audience, which is, what's one thing you all wish you had known before starting college? I mean, aside from that we're going to have a global pandemic, it would be great if we had all known that. But what's one thing you all wish you had known that you know now, and that you think it would be good for prospective students as they're looking at colleges to think about?
This is specific to Wayne itself. So Wayne State has a bunch of like student resources to help everybody out. And one of those is the student disability services. And when I was a freshman, I viewed SDS as this really unapproachable thing reserved for people with very, very difficult challenges. And as someone dealing with a lot of mental health issues, on top of a little bit of physical injury that has impacted me a lot, I didn't consider that I would be eligible to contact them because what I am diagnosed with is only my physical ailment, which admittedly got worse over time and was absolutely necessary to get accommodations. But mental health is something that a lot of people will sort of undervalue about themselves and just try to push it aside or ignore it. And people at Wayne will tell you, oh, we have CAPS, which is Counseling and Psychological Services, which is wonderful. I go to CAPS regularly, and it's like a free therapy service essentially. And SDS will also be sympathetic towards mental health issues. Uh, so a lot of people, at least in my case, feel like if they contact asking for extensions or like tardy forgiveness or something like that, that you'll just come across as lazy and looking for an excuse not getting stuff done. And so that stopped myself and my roommate as well, actually, from contacting them at all. She and I kind of hyped each other up about reaching out. And SDS is super approachable. They'll respond to you in a very short amount of time and just really help out. So my roommate, she is going through a very, very hard time right now. And once she contacted SDS, they gave her forgiveness on late assignments and a ability to request an extension without needing to like do this whole validating why she needs the extension and having to tell professors stuff she might not want to. And I am able to access like professors' notes because one of my hands will sometimes just not want to write. And what I wish I'd known as a freshman at Wayne was just how accessible SDS was. Because, like I said, this is my third year, and this is the second semester of my third year. And it's the first time I've had these accommodations right from the get go of the semester. I feel
Thank
like it
you.
would have helped so much more if I had just realized how accessible it was.
Thank you so much. And I think that is a very, very good message. There are a lot of good messages in there, but among them, prioritize your health, including mental health. Use the resources that are available to you. And in addition to, going to the honors website, I would suggest going to the Dean of Students Office's website, and it has links to all kinds of resources that are available at Wayne State. And then talk to your professors and academic advisors because they are here. We are here to help. What other lessons did folks have that things they wish they had known that they know now that they think people should know coming in?
Okay, for me, one thing that so I went in thinking, we're gonna have big lectures, all this stuff. It's gonna be hard to make friends, especially since I'm also commuting. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get to meet a single person. I'm just gonna kind of go in, go out kind of thing. But like specifically with the honors college and everything, I got to like I've gotten to have the smaller sections of like classes. So I'll have the smaller section for like that changing Detroit class. I have a smaller section for my honors orgo class, everything like that. And there, like I guess I got to get like really intimate with people. Like I got to meet them, get their numbers, talk to them, all that stuff. Things that I really didn't think I was gonna get a chance to do because I had heard at like other colleges, like at U of M, my friends haven't like they only meet people in the dorms. They don't meet people like in their classes and stuff because it's all like 300 students or something. And so that's like a cooler experience. I like having the smaller sections and all that. And it's not as hard to make friends as I thought it would be.
Good to know.
I wish I knew that I have so many things that I could say. I think my biggest thing, going into my freshman year, I was horrified and I did not know exactly what I was doing, and that made me hesitate reaching out to a lot of people, developing connections. And then my second semester of freshman year, I was like, I feel so distant from the honors college. I feel like I don't have that strong of a community currently. So I joined a Donuts with the Dean session on Zoom, and I left and I was like, people really want me here. And people are here to guide you, even if you don't have everything figured out. And if you don't have everything figured out, that is completely fine. There are people who are going to help you. And part of figuring things out is putting yourself out there. It's reaching out, it's not hesitating. It's talking to some amazing faculty and students and getting to know people and trying different student organizations out. And there's really no messing up. There's just, okay, this isn't right for me. So let me try this student organization. Let me put myself out into this group. So I was horrified to talk to anyone, and now I'm here speaking to 55 people. So that's great.
Great, thank you. Anyone else?
I would say come in with a open mentality to like just try new things. I know we're here for school and to do so many awesome things to prepare for our future, but I think we gotta take it one day at a time and just truly enjoy the experience. There's so much going on inside and outside the honors college in terms of clubs, games, extracurriculars that you can definitely get involved with, and especially in Detroit where there's so many emerging restaurants just popping up. We have Belle Isle not that far away. We have the Detroit Institute of the Arts. So many places you can explore. Take it one day at a time. In between studying, take a break. Just walk and just look at the beauty of Detroit. It's amazing.
Great, thanks. And Mariah?
I would say kind of like focusing around what everyone said. It's okay to be uncomfortable, and in college it might happen a lot. But using like your resources. I mean, when I came to college, I came in blind and I didn't know anybody. And I was one of those people, I was like, tutoring? No, I don't need that. But even just simple things like that, a half an hour tutor session, you can make a great friend and they will help going forward. And yeah, using your resources and being uncomfortable is very helpful.
I appreciate that message so much. And you know, I've heard various versions of this, but you know, part of why students come to college is because they want to be stretched from where they are to someplace they haven't been before. You want to move outside of your comfort zone a little bit. And if you do that right, there are going to be these times where it feels unsettling. There are going to be these times where it feels overwhelming. And you know, I'm glad you mentioned the tutoring, because I often say to honor students when we talk about things like our Academic Success Center, um, don't think of tutoring or the Academic Success Center as a remedial thing. It's like, oh, I screwed up. You know, think of it as a way of, I want to achieve peak performance. I'm an honor student and I'm stretching myself to do something I haven't done before. And because I haven't done it before, I'm going to, you know, use the resources that are available to me to figure this out. So I think that, you know, that these are all really great messages that you all are giving. So I appreciate all of you on our student panel for these messages. I want to open things up for questions from the group, and I think I'm going to do this so that now anything that comes up in the chat will be seen by everyone. While we are waiting for, and by the way, if you have questions, you can either put them in the chat or you can use the hand raising function and I will acknowledge you. And I'll ask my staff to point it out to me if I miss people, if you prefer to verbalize your questions. While we're waiting for people to formulate questions, a couple of things. A few of you mentioned the donuts with the dean. There are things that, you know, prior to the pandemic that we used to really like to do, and one of them was donuts with the dean, which is exactly what it sounds like. You know, we'd serve donuts and coffee and other beverages, and people could come in and chat with the dean, and we do this a couple times a semester. During the pandemic, we ended up doing that virtually. Which meant that we really couldn't serve donuts because it's hard to provide donuts through Zoom, but you could bring your own donuts or whatever you wanted. Another thing that we did before the pandemic and that we've done a couple of times virtually, but that I'm really looking forward to doing in person again, is something called Lunches with Leaders. Yes, we like alliteration in the Honors College, donuts with the dean, lunches with leaders. where we would invite in a campus or community leader and serve a free lunch in our honors space, 2100 undergraduate library. By the way, the Honors College is located right in the undergraduate library, right in the center of campus, and there is a lounge space which any honor students can use to study. There's this quiet study space and so on. It's just another opportunity. But let's see if we've got questions. Is there any aspect of the Honors College that would clash with a major in theater? I would love to do both. And I'm glad you asked that question, because M. DeWolf mentioned that they are a major in biology, but did not mention that they are a minor in theater. So M, take it away.
I am so excited to talk about theater. So that is a fantastic question, and one that I myself have struggled with, because when you're in a STEM field and you're trying to take arts themed classes, a lot of times there's this assumption that those students are not likely to be interacting with those types of courses. So a lot of times they'll be at the same time, which is obviously very difficult when you are that student. And what I've learned is that the advisors are immensely helpful about that. So what I've been able to do is one of the theater advisors has set it up so that I can take classes that aren't listed on like the transcript as counting towards the minor in theater, and he'll adjust it so that they do. And also, so we have Old Main, which I like to think of as an arts building, and it is remarkable. There are there's just so many different areas. It's got sections for the music department, sections for the dance department, sections for the theater department. And I myself am on the acting component of theater, but I've also looked a bit at tech classes such as lighting, and there's this whole category of classes called entertainment design that you can sign up for, and they're all super fun. And I had the opportunity of being a part of what's called Freedom Players. And Freedom Players is a traveling social justice theater ensemble of Wayne State students. And you cannot walk into a Freedom Players meeting and walk out without a friend. We spend so much time just talking to each other and really delving deep into what issues are presented to us personally, internally, externally from the world. And then we turn it into a show and we perform it. Well, it's a bit trickier now with the pandemic, but we would go to elementary schools. We did a show on MLK Day when I was a freshman at the Detroit Historical Museum. And I am part of the LGBT plus community. And we did so we write all our own shows, by the way. They are entirely written and set up by us. And we have 2 directors that help out with it, but it is very student driven. And we did this one section of a show that had the comparison of someone from a supportive home and someone not from a supportive home, like walking through the same situations in life. And it was absolutely beautiful. So yeah, if you're interested in theater, even though people talk about how Wayne State is a research university, which is very true, there's tons of great opportunities, do not discount the arts, because Wayne State also has an incredible arts program. And I could not imagine going anywhere else for theater.
Thank you. We got a bunch of questions in. I'm going to answer one of those questions, or actually a cluster of those questions, because there are a number of questions about scholarship opportunities. And then there are a couple of questions that I'm going to need student help on answering. But the question about scholarship opportunities. So pretty much everybody who gets invited to the Honors College gets a merit award, like a Warrior Award or a Gold Award or a Green Award. And that would have been part of your invitation letter. Some students, in addition, because of their high school GPA and or ACT or SAT, get an additional award called the Dean's Award. There are a number of other scholarships, private scholarships within honors that people can pick up along the way on the basis of their performance while in honors. And sometimes these require special applications. For example, there is something that we have been doing in the last few years in the Honors College called the Finish Line Fund. We're trying to raise money to support seniors in the Honors College. Last year, we were able to give 6 seniors a $1,000 scholarship each. This year, we're doing it for 10 seniors. My hope is that eventually all seniors in the Honors College will be able to get this, and we're trying to raise money for that. There are some scholarships that are specific to particular majors, particular activities. There are some scholarships that are specific to particular courses. So for example, Em mentioned that they are doing the Detroit Fellows Tutoring Project, that we now have a scholarship for people who return to that course to help pay for that course that was given to us by the Washington family. Check with your honors advisors, make sure that your academic works profile is up to date so that you will, while you are a member of the college, be eligible for all of these scholarships. That's on the scholarship question. On the paid internship question, we have a few of those. We put out advertisements for them on our Canvas page. The Microsoft Quicken Rocket program that you saw a little video about, that was, I think the first year it was 10 students, got $5,000 each. We have something called the Alabama Emerging Leaders Program in the summer. That's 10 students per year, get $4,000 each. There are others that we are working on. Again, there were things that we advertised through the Canvas page. So some questions for students, and any of you who know the answers to these, feel free to jump in. Question about intramural sports, which I know nothing about, but some of you may have participated in, although again, during pandemic years, that was probably a little harder. A question about living in Chatsworth or living on the honors floor. I'm not sure if any of you are living in the residence halls. There's a question, I think this is probably a question for Mariah specifically, about nursing and whether it's challenging to do the nursing program while doing honors. And there is a question about just balancing workload, which is a question that any of you can answer. So that's a lot of questions, but jump on it.
So for me, as far as the workload question goes, so I was scheduled for 18 credits last semester. I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I can handle 18 credits. I actually went ahead and dropped one of those classes, and so I ended up with 15 credits. So I took all these classes. Like at the end, I was like, okay, I really could have added more. So then I went ahead this semester thinking like 17 credits. So it's really just a matter of like, as for the credits, like just take a normal amount your first semester, just so you can get an idea of like, okay, this is how much I'm going to be working. This is how, and you can decide from there, like what's comfortable for you. Was that too, like, was 15 too many? Was it not enough? Can you add more, like just based on your needs? But like, I wouldn't start with too many credits, because I know like another person who also started with like 18 and then ended up losing a few A's, which like, it's not good. Like you want to start with all A's if you can. It was like, maybe he should have taken less credits, figured out like what's comfortable for him. So just like a little bit of advice, I guess.
Great.
I was in high school, I was that person who was like in every extracurricular, doing everything after school, like getting all of my community service hours. And a huge difference that I've noticed between high school and the university, because I had some of the same anxieties about the workload, is there's a lot more autonomy and you have a lot more independence with how much you can commit to an organization. It's not like the community service clubs that I was in high school. We had to attend every meeting in order to get this rope, get this medal, where the student organizations, it's more personable, it's more come as you can, come as you are. So as far as student organizations go, I know someone mentioned, like, is it possible to balance a workload and join multiple clubs? I think absolutely, because most of the clubs are, the purpose is to socialize or to meet people, make connections, or to enjoy a hobby, a passion. It's not very strict. I think you could have a large web of things that you like to do, because I'm very much the same way, where it's like, I want to do this, I want to do this, but I also want to start this project. And I have found a lot of flexibility. Also, it's not the same as high school, where you're waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning and leaving school at 3 p.m. You have different time chunks, the scheduling is different. So I think as far as your anxieties over workload, you have a lot more control.
Great. Have any of you done intramural sports?
I actually did it last semester with a group of people on my honors floor, actually, and it was a really fun. We did soccer, and the sign up process is actually not that hard to complete. I think it was a little extra this semester because of just COVID. There's a daily screening you have to fill out every time you play the game, but there's a link on the Get Involved page at Wayne State to play intramural sports. And they have everything you can think of: fencing, I believe, basketball, soccer, volleyball, all those sports that you could be interested in. You can sign up through the Get Involved page and just make friends.
Great. And you mentioned you lived on the honors floor, but you're not in Chatsworth, right? You're in
No, I'm in Towers.
Towers. Okay. Has anybody been in Chatsworth on this panel? Okay, so before I forget, I'm going to ask Mariah, have you found any challenge with doing nursing while also doing honors?
Actually, no. So I think when it comes to nursing, a lot of people think it's really hard and it takes up all your time, but I think honors really like pairs with it well, because it allows you to actually like dive deeper into what you're learning, and sometimes even like look into what you're going to be learning in the future. Um, and honestly, at one point I was like, I don't know if I can do this, but it kind of, like I said, it goes hand in hand. So like nursing, you have to do your clinicals, and the field learning, if you choose to do your practicum, that's like your community. And I guess so you ask, can you take honors courses? I'm not sure if honors courses would apply to like your nursing requirements to graduate with nursing, but there are honors courses that focus on nursing and things related to that. And me personally, I haven't really taken any of those honors classes surrounding nursing. I have made all of my nursing courses honors, not all of them, but mainly like one a semester. So I will write like an extra 10-page paper and do research on a topic that I'm interested in relating to that class and nursing. So yeah, hopefully
Great,
that.
that's helpful. That's helpful. And one of the things that it points out that I did not mention earlier and I should have mentioned is that many honors credits that people take are for their gen ed requirements. So, like for example, Honors 1000, the foundational seminar, these are gen ed requirements that you have to take regardless of what your major is. And these honors credits, count toward meeting those. There was a more general question about that, about just exploring different majors. I know some of you on the panel came in, with a really sort of set idea. This is what I want to do, and this is, what I'm going to major in, and this is how I'm going to finish in 4 years, et cetera, et cetera. Have any of you like had the opportunity to maybe explore majors a little bit more, and maybe have changed your major? Can any of you speak to that question in particular? Or did you all come in knowing exactly what you wanted to do?
I did not.
Okay.
I definitely had a little tussle with myself. I never ended up actually changing my major, but I did have a lot of anxiety. And I feel like at first, it felt like I was definitely settling just on communication studies because it was very general. Then I had a double minor in design and journalism. Um, One thing that helped me was reaching out to other students that were within the majors that I was looking into, because I was actually considering majoring in journalism and just getting rid of the communication studies. So I talked to a lot of students who are also studying communication studies who are a few grade levels above me, and some journalism students, some of my professors, and people love to talk about themselves. So, and they love to help you. So just again, know I said this before, but people, you are wanted. You can feel comfortable asking those questions because at first I felt a lot of shame, like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like this is not exactly what I want, but I'm too scared to admit that to other people because I look around and everyone has it figured out. So I definitely also had a lot of anxiety and a lot of shame, but I definitely did not need to feel that shame, and I could talk to my advisors. I could be open about, I don't know exactly what to do. Can you help me? So just being open about it was the first step.
Thank you. That's great.
John,
Yes,
is it okay if I add something?
please do. And this is Angel Niederkor, one of our academic advisors, and I appreciate your jumping in. I'm going to see if I can highlight you so that people can see you if they can't otherwise see you.
Sure.
Or-
I
Right.
wanted to say a few things about a few of the questions in the chat, but also to add on to what Liliana was saying. One of the things that's nice about having so many advisors at Wayne, whether it's your major advisor, your minor advisor, or your honors advisor, is there are people that you can meet with that can talk things through with you and also help you to use a very handy tool that we have in the system that we use called DegreeWorks, to see, if I change my mind or I want to add this minor or change my major, how will the courses that I've taken up until now and that I'm registered for now impact, how will they be applied to that potential different road? And so it lets you see where, if you were to switch directions, how that would spell out as far as the number of courses it changes. The other thing that I think is really an element that offers ease to honor students who are switching from one major to the other is that for university honors, there's a lot of flexibility in where many of the honors credits come from. So you're not, only able to earn them, in classes that start with the word honors. You can earn them in biology or theater or philosophy or biochemistry. So if you switch from one path to the other, you can continue, earning honors credits toward the co-major along, the journey to the path that you're going to complete.
Thank you. That's very helpful. And it's also a very helpful reminder of how having honors advisors around is always a great thing because honors advisors are here to help. And, as I mentioned earlier, our honor students are ambitious students. You have a lot going on, and we want to provide you with the resources to help you manage and balance all that. And the extra levels of advising are among those resources that we provide. We're going to be wrapping up shortly, but I just want to glance through and see if there are any sort of key questions I've forgotten that we have not covered. There was a question about how is it that honors allows more access to internships and research opportunities in a couple of ways. One way is that some of those are honor specific, so they're only offered to honors students. And the other way is that we know that a lot of our students are interested in those things, so that we work very hard to make our students aware of them and help our students apply for them. So, to just try to smooth out that pathway, think of us as a kind of concierge service of trying to connect you with these sorts of opportunities. Was a question, it was sent to me, but I'll speak about it broadly. Heart of Detroit tuition pledge, that would be admissions and financial aid. So I encourage you to contact them. But if there are any questions that you think of after this session or that we did not cover in this session, please feel free to contact us at honors@wayne.edu. Again, honors@wayne.edu. And that's, of course, very similar to our website, which is honors.wayne.edu. And there's some information a little bit about living in towers. Thank you, Em, for putting that in there. I'm going to ask our student panelists to help me sort of close this out with one final question that I'm going to ask of all of you, and then I'm going to wrap things up. But again, encouraging people to write to us if they still have questions. So that one final question I want to ask of all of you is, you were all at this point at one stage in your past of being high schoolers thinking about college. If there's one sort of last piece of advice you want to give to students as they're thinking about their various possible places to go to college, as they're thinking about the things they ought to do in preparing for college, what would that piece of advice be?
I guess I kind of have like three things all together, but I would say when choosing a college, choose something that you really want to do, not like what everybody else is doing, and follow your friends and stuff. And like I said, don't be afraid to be uncomfortable and put yourself out there and use your resources. Everybody is here to help you, and everyone wants you to succeed in the end, even though you might not feel like it at sometimes. You can reach out to any advisor, any professor. I'm sure a lot of them will answer very quickly and help in any way that they can.
Thank you. That's very good advice. And I'm going to add to the use your resources part. I was a first generation college student. I know some of you may be first generation college students. And, often when I wanted advice about things, I would go to my parents, and my parents would try very hard to be helpful, and they would give me advice, even though sometimes they were giving me advice about things that they didn't know a lot about. They were trying, they meant well. But I often remind students, talk to the people who are in a position to answer the questions that you have. So, yes, talk to your parents, but, talk to college counselors at the colleges you are considering. Talk to students. This was an opportunity to do that a little bit, who are attending those colleges. Talk to guidance counselors you have in your high school who know something about the college application process. Use the resources available to you, but specifically talk to people who are in a position to answer those kinds of questions. Thanks. What else in terms of advice for our prospective students here as they're looking at colleges?
Okay, so one thing that I didn't do that I think you guys should do is go visit campuses, because I decided, I was like, okay, I don't really care. I don't want to go visit. Like, I have an idea. I remember like 5 years ago, I went on like a middle school trip or something. This was kind of like just my thought process. Like, yeah, I remember the campus was like pretty nice, but then so I came here to Wayne. I was like very fortunate to find that Wayne was like has a really nice campus. Actually, I was kind of surprised at first because I hadn't visited it. I didn't really know. It's a very nice campus. Like, some people that I know like went to like other colleges. I'm not gonna name them exactly, but like, oh, this place kind of sucked. Like, I hadn't really visited. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go like, and so had they like visited, they might have like chosen another college. It's like huge what the like your opinion about the college when you're there, because if you just go and it sucks, you don't like the way it looks, you don't like the stuff that's on campus, you're going to kind of hate it. You won't want to spend any time there. You won't do extracurricular activities, and that stuff's all like important, and you'll get to like have fun. So make sure to go visit, like make sure you like the place that you're going to end up going to before going there, and don't just kind of leave it as a hit or miss type of situation for 4 years.
I think that's good advice,
Yeah.
because the feel of a place. Sorry.
Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, bouncing off of that, really look into pay attention to your passions and prioritize engaging with those passions. I wanted to go to a private college because some of my friends were there, and I was going to go into accounting so I could make enough money to go to this private college. And I'm a communication studies major with a minor in journalism. I'm not a math person. I'm an English person. So just really pay attention to what is at your core and put that first, and don't feel like you have to adapt to a certain college. The college is supposed to fit you. You're not supposed to mold yourself to fit this certain environment. So that's part of one of the reasons that I chose Wayne, was because it was diverse, it was artistic, creative. It was full of life. It is full of life. It's a little dead right now, but in February that will change. So yeah, just really pay attention to what you want for yourself.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I have a comment to bounce off of what Liliana just said. Um, I did tour colleges because I was, as I'm sure many of you are, I was looking at Wayne State, Michigan State, and University of Michigan. And I visited all three of those campuses. And I am so glad I did, because for me personally, the energy at Michigan State was so off to me, and it just did not match me at all. And I would have had no idea about that if I hadn't gone to the campus, because like anyone that I've talked to who went there is like, oh yeah, it's the best thing ever, Spartans forever and all this. And then I went there and it just felt uncomfortable for me. And then I went to Wayne and it felt like people were excited to meet me and weren't just like, oh look, there's one of the prospective students. They were like, oh hey, a new student, let's go talk to them, kind of like what we're doing right now. And like that is not just a front, that is so true for all of Wayne State. Everyone that I have come across so far is incredibly friendly and just wants to build each other up.
Thank you. We have a question from Keyshawn Sony. Keyshawn, did you want to ask that question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask, how can we effectively balance our schedule with an honors class and, like, say, with an engineering curriculum? What are some study strategies provided in the honors curriculum?
Great question. And I don't think we have any engineering students on the call, but maybe I could defer to an advisor, either Angel or Andra, to talk about some of the particular experiences our engineering students have. Most of the students, by the way, that you saw in that video for the Quicken program, the Rocket program, were engineering students. Andra, I see you unmuted, so
Hey, yeah,
Hi.
thank you. Hey, hello everyone. My name is Andra. I just joined the group due to some other commitments that I had today, but glad to see everyone. Angel, I didn't know if you wanted to chime in, but I did want to let the students know this is engineering is the subject, is that correct? Or
Yes.
the program. So engineering, as many of you already know, engineering is a quite rigorous program, right? So for engineering, and it really applies to all students, we do have what we call the University Advising or Student Success Center, the first floor in the undergraduate library. I usually, oh, can you guys still hear me? Yeah. I usually refer students to the undergraduate library, first floor, University Advising. They do offer a number of resources. Now, I think your question was more honors related, but the fact is we do know engineering is one of those rigorous programs, just like Mariah, your nursing program, right? Rigorous. You got to fit in some classes and making some of your classes honors. But the student success university student success in the first floor of the undergraduate library, they do offer a number of resources in terms of tutoring. You guys can even establish or set up your own tutoring groups to help you study together. So that is one of the resources, and that's just one in terms of a tutoring resource that I always offer students and suggest for students if they're struggling in those areas. The other thing I wanted to point out is that you guys will have access to a honors, we call them honors librarian. I call him the honors librarian extraordinaire because he does focus, Clayton happens to be our honors librarian. He does focus on our first year honor students in terms of not only engineering, but keep in mind, what may be common sometimes is engineers may have struggles with reading and writing. Not that honor students, but anybody may have struggles with reading and writing. The librarian, his name is Clayton Hayes, he does assist our first year honor students in those skills. So that's another resource. Angel, I don't know, you may want to chime in. I just feel like I'm kind of lost for other resources for right now.
No, that's okay. Keyshawn, one of the things that happens during your first semester in Honors 1000 is that we require you to meet with your honors advisor for about 40 minutes. And during that time, we talk about how your honors requirements are going to be feathered in throughout your 3, 4, 5 years for your undergrad. So one of the things that I always stress is that you don't always have to make your hardest classes be the honors version of those classes, right? You have a lot of freedom to choose where your honors credits are earned. So you can choose to complete them in areas that light you up, where you're adding something to a course that you're actually interested in and it's not busy work for you. One of the other things is Wayne has what they call a Wayne Experience course that freshmen are required to take. And during that course, there's a lot of beautiful content, but I think what's super helpful is to learn how to create a study schedule that's going to actually work for you. And to Andra's point about the tutoring center, sometimes if I, as a human, write down in my planner, Angel, you're going to read for 2 hours at 4 p.m. When 4 p.m. comes, I may or may not read, but if somebody's expecting me to be somewhere and read with them, you better bet I'm going to be there. So we kind of help nudge you to put yourself on the hook in ways that you'll find make you more accountable to stick to what you've created and to notice when it's not working for you, right? Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much, Mrs. Niederkort, and thank you so much, Dean Corvino, and to all the students and faculty present. Thank you for this presentation.
Well, thank you. And this actually provides me with a great opportunity to transition to my closing. I just want to respond to a quick question here that in a private chat. Sorry, it's trying to do a written chat and a verbal chat at once. It is always difficult. But I want to thank, first of all of our prospective students for showing up today for this. You are already, I want to say, well ahead of the game in terms of your college search because A, congratulations, you got into the Honors College, and that's a wonderful thing. And B, you took the affirmative step of coming to a program like this to find out more, which, wherever you end up deciding to go, I think it's important for you to do that on the basis of good information. Ideally, if you can, visiting the campus that that you are interested in, as a couple of our student panelists recommended. But in any case, making sure that, that the campus sort of fits with your goals, your values, your priorities. And so participating in something like this is an important way of finding that out. But I also wanted to thank two groups of people. One is the group of my colleagues, some of whom you actually heard from today, but some of whom have been doing a lot behind the scenes in order to make this all run smoothly. I am not the most tech savvy dean in the world. I sometimes say that, back when I was teaching and I taught philosophy, that when Wayne State gave me a grant to introduce technology into the classroom, I went out and bought low dust chalk. So I'm just not a technology guy, but thankfully I have people who help with that aspect of it. Since we're doing these virtual events, that's really helpful. And I have an amazing group of colleagues in the Honors College who help me in so many ways. So I thank them for that today. But I especially want to thank our student panelists. As I said many times today, honor students are busy. They're ambitious students. They've got a lot going on. I know some of you came right from class. I know some of you have classes to go to yet today. I know some of you are in the midst of all kinds of other things. So I don't know if there's a way for us to unmute everybody or just ask everybody to unmute. But if you would like to give our panelists a round of applause, or if you would just like to use your applause button, or if you'd like to just do the golf clap thing, however you want to do it, please thank our student panelists. Thank you. And with that, I want to encourage all of you to visit our website, honors.wayne.edu. Email us if there are any questions that we did not get a chance to answer. And I apologize if I missed questions in the chat. Sometimes that multitasking is a little bit difficult, but you can email us at honors@wayne.edu. We really appreciate your participation today. Stay safe, stay warm. We'll see you soon.